So the first dream, I just saw everybody just gathered outside, and was just walking around, and they had a Hispanic woman was holding up a white sign, and on the sign it was saying that the military base was drafting people in the U.S. to join, I guess, the military for a nuclear war that was gonna happen. And so I remember that it was very visual for me to see it. And they have been talking about, like the war that's going on right now in Ukraine and Russia. That's going on currently. I mean, it says in the Bible that in the last days that, wars will happen, and it's already happening. So what I got from that is possibly a war will be going on in the U.S., and they will start drafting people pretty much for a war.
For your glory alone, O God, in Jesus' mighty name I pray. Amen. So the first vision that God gave me was a vision about America. And in this vision, I was in a battlefield, and it looked like everything was dark, gloomy, gray, misty. There was a lot of smoke. There was fire and debris everywhere. And it looked like America had been decimated by a nuclear bomb. And I saw the American flag in this dream, but it was shredded up and it was burning halfway, and everything just seemed so smoky. I couldn't really see much people in this dream after this nuclear attack happened. The second vision that I had, I saw a woman that was older, like in her 50s, 60s. She was sitting in her living room, and it was very, very dark in this vision. And as the lady was sitting in her living room, I noticed that her skin began to melt off. The skin on her face, the skin all over her body, it just was melting off. And the lady was crying and closing her eyes as all the skin was just melting off. And the dream being so dark, it seemed like the lights had gone out. Like there was no electricity in this dream. When this nuclear attack happens, they will shut off the electricity. And that's what I saw, with that lady sitting there in the dark, and her skin was melting off, and there was nothing that the woman could do about it.
Now in the dream, I found myself in a grocery store, and the people that were in the store were panic buying like they were 4 or 5 months ago at the onset of coronavirus. And while I was in the store, I began to hear over the speakers the warning of nuclear war that had just started. And then I woke up.
I was in my room with my wife, myself, and my 2 youngest daughters. We were in the bed, and I got up to go into the bathroom. I was looking out of the window in the bathroom, and I looked up and I saw it was like a bunch of clouds, but it's like all the clouds were raining down, kind of like this, raining down in different angles. But they had a light on them, right? At the very tip, there was a light on them. I was able to see like, hey, I think something's up. It was all around the horizon, out my window. You could see it all the way around the horizon. It was just streams of clouds coming down. It was at that moment, it's like all of them hit the ground at the same time, and a great, like, gray wave or whatever just came straight up in the air like that. And as it started rising, the ground started shaking. And we knew immediately what it was. It was some type of nuclear war, right?
The first one that I remember, it came out of the blue. We didn't expect it, and we were being invaded. And I believe we were being invaded by Russia. I believe it was Russian troops. In the dream, it was shocking because people who lived where I live were just focused on their cell phone and technology, and like they were just looking at their phones, and we were being invaded. The impression that I got was that this couldn't happen. They didn't believe that in this day and age, with the technology and everything, that an invasion could happen. It's almost like they put their head in the sand. They were focused on their phones. That was a big part of that dream. They were focused on their phones. They thought with technology the way that it is in this day and age, that stuff like World War II couldn't happen. But in the dream, it was in North America, and we were being invaded by Russian forces.